All right, guys, good games wait for no one, and we're going to be jumping here into game number 3. The teams have decided for the salty runback. If you're familiar with Super Smash Brothers or fighting game commentary, we are going back to Dragonshire, Miss Hannah.
We sure are, and we already have bans.
We do.
We have Rhaegar and Sergeant Hammer banned. Actions per minute saying, no more Happy Fairy Dragons. We do not want to see your siege tank hitting up all our stuff.
Well, it's not a bad ban. We've seen a 100% win rate with Sergeant Hammer on this map, just in this league alone. She's an absolutely strong pick overall. And Protect the Hammer comp worked out brilliantly because we didn't have all those counters that we had in the game number 1. Like the Zeratul was banned, the Zagara was counterpicked, and we had the ETC frontline with Uther. That's really hard to jump right through that. So it was a great comp from Happy Fairy Dragons, which brought us to game 3. And actions per minute said we're also going to be taking away your battle cow.
No battle cow for you. All ours this time. And you know, ETC shown very, very strong throughout this tournament as well, this league itself, so no surprises there. And probably no surprises either from Happy Fairy Dragons as they pull in an Uther and a Nazebo.
Uther Nazebo. Well, once again, you know, we've talked about the healing power and the counter initiate available to the Uther, but Nazebo has almost been 100% picked in our. He is just a strong hero overall.
It seems that in Heroes of the Storm in general, just body blocking is so important. So if your hero has not only a body, but also other bodies that are particularly made for blocking, that's something that you can't take too lightly.
The out of context quotes on that are pretty strong.
I'm good at those.
I'm glad it all makes sense here, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the zombie wall is definitely very good. The Vikings can do some phenomenal body blocking maneuvers late game with their boat and their triple bodies. Their go is something that we saw in game number 1 of the day, but we haven't seen them since. We've seen a Vikings ban, though. Was that this game that we saw a ban? No, I think that was the last one, the Rhaegar Targaryens. But either way, Vala Zagara coming to the forefront here of actions per minute, saying, yeah, we're taking all of your heroes again. They're now ours.
Yep. We liked what you did. We're going to do it this time instead. So, yeah, Happy Fairy Dragons has to be looking at that and saying, darn it, we liked those. Gotta switch our strategy to be the opposite, trying to kill our own strategy. And they're pulling out a Zeratul, it looks like, which we've seen banned quite a bit. And I don't think, have we seen played at all so far today?
This will be our first. He has been banned for sure. And again, he has a lot of strengths, especially with this guy, the Tassadar. They take the Tassadars to deny that vision. So they got Tassadar and Uther. If actions per minute wanted to go for a hero that can keep track of Zeratul because he is stealthy by nature, they'd have to take Rhaegar because he has Farsight. Oh, I'm sorry, Rhaegar's banned.
Oopsies.
So Happy Fairy Dragon's got to be very happy with that setup because I think the only last person for Clairvoyance would have been Malfurion, but I think actions... They really like the Malfurion anyway, so they do pick him up to go with the Stitches. And I'm actually going to confirm that he has Clairvoyance because I run this fabulous website called HeroesFire where I can easily find out these things.
And you're going to go to HeroesFire.com right now?
I am, right now, as we talk. But who's our last pickup?
Looks like it is going to be a Muradin.
Absolutely.
Mr. Never Die himself. So giving some tankiness to that comp, someone who can run out in the front lines alongside the Protoss brethren. And interesting, strong comps on both sides. Pretty straightforward and lots of fun synergy.
All right, just telling the teams that we are good to go. Yeah, I do like that last pickup. And Malfurion does not have the Clairvoyance, so we don't actually have a super easy way to keep track of the Zeratul. So the deny on the Oracle, the deny on the Uther, and the deny on the Rhaegar means that Zeratul should have a fairly free-flowing map presence because there's no easy way to detect him. Now, ETC can slide into him, can face melt him, we can multi-shot him with the Vala, we can throw down roaches on his head or hook him or root him. But either way, you're spending mana, essentially, to try to grab him out of stealth. And if he plays it right, he can become quite the thorn in the side. And going back to game number 2, where we talked a little about Zeratul and Void Prison, you know, it's a very powerful tool. You can deny points, you can grab creeps if you play it right, and you can also deny dragons. So it's a good pick.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how these teams play out. And, this has been super balanced so far. Both teams really kind of showing the same amount of strength in both games. They are currently 1-1. This is the third game, and both strong team picks. So it's going to be really fun to see kind of what interesting strategies that these teams can figure out to get the upper hand on each other.
And in terms of an upper hand, I mean, there's no Sergeant Hammer, but we do got Zagara and Nazebo. Both of them by themselves can push reasonably well. They waste out a lot of ammo with their spells because of zombie walls, because of roaches and hydralisks. But when it comes to team fights as well, we've seen a Nidus Zagara with split pushing tactics. We've also now seen the Devouring Maw Zagara for team fighting tactics. I have to, again, just assume at this point, based upon previous history with actions per minute, it's going to be more of a Devouring Maw. And they're going to be looking for that as a setup, once more, to the battle cow. Will be a stage dive or a mosh? That I'm not too sure of right now.
Yeah, this is the first time, well, maybe not the first time, but definitely in this series, we have not seen any stealthy work on this map. So we're gonna see Zeratul kind of running around and trying to pop up where he's not wanted. What do you think that's gonna make happen here on Dragonshire?
Well, the only other stealth we've seen today is Nova, who is the other stealth hero. And that was game number 1 against Vikings. And that was a great pick. But here, the Zeratul, it's just basically you don't really know where he is in the jungle. Going from lane to lane to lane to lane. The entire enemy team has left the game. That's funny. Going from lane to lane, in some of the previous matches that I've done, especially with especially with Glorious, Glaurung, who's now on Tempo Storm, he's a phenomenal Zeratul. He's absolutely 100%. He roams and kills a lot early game with Zeratul. So I think that really is just what you need to be doing with him. You need to use the stealth advantage to get from lane to lane unseen, and then use that to grab some early game kills for the early game advantage.
Sounds good. I think looks like we need to do some work to get our teams back in the lobby.
Yep.
But as we do, want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing here while Forecourt Jester works on that. This is, of course, the HeroesHype amateur series. This is a place where we just want to create a really safe, fun learning environment for teams that may be not at the pro level yet, and those who are at the pro level but haven't had a chance to be discovered yet. They're here to show off their skills and hopefully let people know that they really are teams to contend with. And so we're hoping to show them off. I'm here, of course, as an amateur caster myself, learning a few things from Forecourt Jester, the pro, which is fun. And also, don't forget there's some giveaways going on around HeroesHype. And HeroesHype itself is a really robust, awesome community that you should check out. The HeroesHype newsletter is an email you can get every week that has everything you need to know about heroes that happened that week. And there's all sorts of fun activations that HeroesHype does. So shout out to Miss Honey of HeroesHype, who's kind of the driving force behind that. She invited us both to be here. So thanks a lot, Miss Honey. And guys, be sure to show them tons of love. Follow them on Twitter, all of that good stuff, because you will not regret it if you are a Heroes fan.
If you can, just try to join on me, Miss Anna, and we'll get this going. And but it's absolutely right. HeroesHype, they've been around for a while. They're definitely a name known in this community, and a lot of the effort that they put in to this community is greatly appreciated from not only us, but the community themselves. If we can get you in, you just write.
Yeah, it's.
You might have to leave your part.
Me to join. Oh, that's.
I know. Custom games. This is something of an interesting setup. I think I see. Nope, I don't. All right. Once we get you in, we can definitely get this going. I've left the score screen up for the draft screen up for definitely a while, but that is the draft, and that is what we're going with. Everyone's good like that. Still nothing?
Just a second. It won't let me out of. I'm all by myself in a lobby, so just 1 second.
Technical difficulties, so to speak. Just pop up in the chat and just say something in the channel or log off. That's fine. Yep. So the amateur series here from HeroesHype, if you guys don't know, you can hit it up on the website, but I believe we had 19 teams today sign up, and they want to do it every week, every Wednesday. If you and 4 friends, or you need to go recruiting, you want to try your hand at some more competitive heroes, it's a heck of a lot different when it comes to competitive than, say, Quick Match or Hero League. And it's really just an experience. If this is something you want to do, it's great to get your name out there. You get a little bit of the spotlight. It's also a lot of scrims. You don't have to go, begging some of the top teams to play against you, but perhaps some of the teams maybe not quite as known, but have some interesting strategies. Actions per minute, for example, have been in the ESL Cup many times. They started off small. They've vastly improved over the last 6 weeks or so. Just continually playing in the cup, getting that experience. And I think Miss Anna is here.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Good luck. Have fun. We are going to get this game number 3 rolling. Took a little bit to get it up, but finally we will have the epic conclusion with the salty run back to the Dragon Chai. And I think we've said all really that we can say.
Yeah, excited to look at this next game. And we have been on Dragon Char quite a bit today, and I'm pretty sure all of you know how it works, but just in case, a quick rundown. 2 shrines, one at the top, one at the bottom. Claim those shrines and your team has access to the Dragon Knight, which is this awesome suit you can put on to have awesome abilities like flame breath and hunting your enemies, as well as doing tons and tons of damage. So that's something that both teams are going to be fighting for, and they're going to be weighing that against the cost of not soaking experience in lanes, maybe neglecting objectives like their mercenary camps and all of that. And we've seen both of these teams fight on this map already, and they've been very evenly matched. We saw kind of an epic battle of the Titans last game over those shrines. So we'll see if we see that again.
Yeah, we've seen split pushing, we've seen teams fighting. The great thing about this game is that there's nothing set in stone. You can play a variety of heroes, a variety amount of ways, and you can win in a variety set of circumstances. And I think Blizzard is very happy with the product they've made so far. It is, I believe now, 1 year anniversary since we were all inducted the first wave into Alpha.
Really?
It's almost been, or it has been, 1 year. I don't remember the exact date in February, but I gave up a lucrative career in Diablo 3 to watch Sage almost die, as Zerk was going to try to solidify that kill. Hackage really low here as well, but Sray's getting a little bit too low. Don Lu's just going to think, all right, let's stun out Meadowtown. Well, there's going to be some heals on him as well. Last time we saw 3 kills before the 1 minute mark. This time, everyone goes home alive.
Yeah, and both teams running everyone mid. So interesting. Good that no one died. Well, I guess it depends on your point of view, but everyone's spreading out to lanes now.
So happy the enemy team didn't die.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but you're right. They do spread out. We do got this 3-man gank on top of Mr. Savage, putting Zagara mid. It's an interesting call. Zagara by herself does not really stack up against a Tassadar, so they might want to think about a lane spot there.
It's almost as if Mr. Savage heard you, creating spots now with Sage, who's going to hold down the middle.
Yep.
As we have 3 down here in bottom with a party lane of their own against just 2 from Happy Fairy Dragons.
Sometimes I like to think I know what I'm talking about.
Activate the shrine.
Sometimes.
The dragon's power is yours.
The shrines do go up, so it looks like probably we're going to see an actions per minute shrine in the bottom, but no, we actually have 4 Happy Fairy Dragons charging the bottom and 1 Happy Fairy Dragon in the top. If they can manage to grab the Dragon Knight, probably not. As we do see Meadowtown stealing that top right away, and Zebo's saying, nah, I'm having none of that battle cow. I'm going to leave it to him.
So, once more, the ETC is very sustained. He has the groupies, but not a lot of big burst. Well, it's kind of the same there for Buds. Buds, at the same time, he can trade and just get all that health and mana back from his passive. It's not exactly the big kill lanes that you want. Meadowtown, I think, would eventually win just by repeated applications of trying to kill Buds, but it's going to take a while, and you don't really have that much time really to waste. So he's going to go back and cap it. That's going to leave us with Sage to try to grab it mid, but he is really forced far back. Tassadar's doing a good job keeping him out of the middle. And here comes the gank from Don Lu into the bottom, but there's only 3 members here to do this. I thought it was going to be a little bit more with a 4-on-1, but no kills. Going to go either way. You don't have the biggest bursts with these heroes, but the range is enough to take home Inkling. I think Don is going to just jump. Yeah, he's going to jump. Stray is going to go for the kill on Savage, but doesn't get it. Has to blink on out of that. And towers are out of ammo down here as well. They're not helping the cause for the Fairy Dragon.
But even though actions per minute does have the Dragon Knight activated, they still have to be able to get the Dragon Knight channel uncontested, and Tassadar is going to make that really difficult here in mid.
Yeah, you need somebody to shield or zone, is a better word for it, in the mid if you want Sage or whoever to pick it up, because Tassadar is not going to be somebody you can take one-on-one with the current level of health that he has.
Absolutely, and he's got that range damage that he can throw on top of you that's just really annoying, so they're going to need more than just one person there in mid if they're going to grab the Dragon Knight, and as soon as they do have more than one person there, they're leaving their shrines less well protected.
So it's a gamble. It's either you rush down the mid and try to cap it before somebody can undo your hard work, or you just keep soaking in the lanes and getting the level experience. And that's exactly what we're seeing here from Actions per Mid. They are level 7. They do got one talent tier, but that window is shrinking. And bottom lane, they've continued to push up with the Zagara. This is why you would put a Zagara bottom rather than the mid, especially against the Tassadar. The Tassadar can Psy Storm your creeps, he can Oracle your creeps, and with that shield, he can almost out-trade you until level 7, where you get your rapid incubation. Look at this. I mean, just him and Srey were able to chase off Sage, and they're able to just maintain control of this mid.
And now it looks like Action per Minute maybe making a run for it to the mid, but in the meantime, Inkling is able to grab that lower shrine. So again, not able to leave one part behind, and we've seen this before for Court Jester. We've seen this exact thing with this back and forth, TikTok and Seesaw, where no other objectives are being taken, nothing much else is being done except for making sure that one team or the other does not get the chance to grab that Dragon Knight.
The merry-go-round, the do-si-do, and it's a lot of but essentially, yes, we just keep trading one shrine back and forth, or we can't solidify the cap in the mid. And right now, Actions per Minute, they're pretty okay with this. They're not going for a dragon, they're just playing the game of the touch and go. But they've taken down the bottom gate, and now they've worked on mid towers. They're gone. And they are still solidifying a 1 level lead. They're about to hit heroics. As soon as we hit the heroics and we can catch someone, you can almost guarantee we're going to be going for a dragon.
Absolutely. And it looks like they are close to that, and I don't think that Happy Fairy Dragons are going to be able to catch up experience in time unless they get some sort of pick or something that we're not expecting.
Yeah.
Ooh, it looks like they may be able to zone for the Dragon Knight right now, actually, and they've just hit 10, so they are in a very good position to team fight here in mid and to push.
Inkling was bottom. He was on a shrine, but he wasn't quick enough. Level 10 comes up. The Fairy Dragons, they fall back. They don't want to deal with a level 9 versus 10 fight. And Sage is now just going to town on the last set of towers, which is this top lane. Don Lu, a little bit low on the hit points. He's going to have to wait for his passive to kick in to get back into this fight. But what's the other teammates doing here? Actually, for have 3 pushing top. Well, 4? No, Mr. Savage is going to go back mid. Actually, he doesn't know what he wants to do. And Malfurion all the way down into the bottom lane. So you're not going to see huge aggression because the healer is not into this top. But it is forcing all 5 of the dragons up here, and now they're losing more experience because they're not so good.
Yes, and as you can see, we've got Zagara in mid and Malfurion in bottom, soaking up happily while they let their Dragon Knight do work top.
1 level lead is now almost 1.5, so to speak. And the actions, what they got all the turrets. So there's no gates, no turrets of any kind of defense. All right, there's a little bit of a gate top, but it's very bad. And that's, mission accomplished.
It's an interesting choice to go, top, middle, and bottom and take out that first tier as opposed to pushing one really hard. I feel like I see that a lot more in kind of the pub games where someone will just push one lane as hard as they can, feeling like they've got to do as much damage as possible and not waste time walking. Have you seen a little bit of both, and which one do you think is stronger, or does it depend on the game?
Well, in a close game like this, every little experiencing that you can get is going to be a huge leg up on your opponents. If you're both level 12 and you take out a few towers and you hit 13, well, you have a small window to make use of that advantage. Coming into this game, level 12 to 11, a lot of that level experience is because we have 6 towers down compared to 9. So
Absolutely.
You see how these little advantages, I mean, they're easy to take towers. You don't have to commit too much to do it. But 6 towers difference is the majority of this 1 level lead, 2 level lead.
Actions per minute wanting to get this team fight while they're up in experience and getting a nice hook down, forcing an ultimate there.
Yep, not Zagara. Well, Zagara's there, but Zeratul with that time bubble did hit the healer, which is a good idea, but they weren't able to follow up. There was no big spike in damage. Srey is now probably going to drop, but the roots don't actually hit him. It is instead going to be Mirrodin now dropping. There goes the Zeratul instead. Inkling, does he have any heals left up? Well, it's going to be the shield from Tassadar to keep him up. And everybody, low hit points across the board for the Faerie Dragons. Nobody dead for the actions per minute. And now, because they hit 13 mid-fight, they have that big power spike. They take down support. They're likely to also now take this dragon.
Do you see anything in the ultimates from either team that surprises you, or is this pretty standard what you'd expect?
Well, let's take a quick look. Putrid Bile. Rain of Vengeance has been the favorite here from Sage all 3 games. Devouring Maw, so not the Nidus, as we said a little bit earlier. Mosh Pit and Tranquility, so that seems all good. The Putrid Bile versus the Gorge. The Putrid Bile is, if you have a melee enemy team, you can actually get more value out of just spitting and coughing all over them rather than eating one of them, because it gives you a lot of zone control. It slows them down, and nobody likes, fighting on a sticky floor. So it's a big zoning, it's big gross, right? They have Mirrodin, they got Zeratul, they got Ether. 3 melees right there. So you can see what the big importance of Putrid Bile. Flip side though, Divine Storm, Ravenous, Archon, Avatar, and Void Prison, pretty kind of standard cookie stuff. Very rarely will you see deviation from that.
And in the meantime, we do see an actions per minute Dragon Knight pushing down the mid and actually popping into a Void Prison right now.
That was a really good Void Prison. Inkling following that up very nicely with the Divine Storm as well. That's the power of the comp here from the Faerie Dragons. They get the 1 kill. Meadowtown's going to try to reset a little bit by keeping Inkling dancing, but there was no follow-up there. There was no collapse. The Donlu is now actually popping that passive. He's going to get a lot of healing in the next few seconds. Couple that with the Uther. He flew off screen, but he's very healthy once more. And there's the Putrid Bile. You can't chase that, and you don't want to be fighting in that because the damage over time is slow. It looks disgusting, and
it's all over your shoes.
Right. But that was a good defense from the Faerie Dragons. They were able to get off a fantastic Void Prison into the Divine Storm. They took home the kill on Zagara. Maybe they're pushing their luck a little bit now with this contest, but nope. Don Blue's going to say, "Come on, guys, bring it on back." And well, there's no contest on the creeps, but there's also no deaths either side.
Yeah, and the actions per minute did come out on top, being able to grab those siege giants. So although no one lost anything in the team fight, the net benefit to them is a little bit higher there.
Just a little. Here goes the Maw. That's actually landing on top of Buzz, but the reset again from Inkling. These Divine Storms are really on point. Meadowtown is likely to drop. He tried to incubate there with the help from Malfurion. Healing ward down as well, but wow, was the price ever high. 1, 2, and 3. It's the hat trick here from actions per minute. And sure, they lost their battle cow, but they gained 3 kills, and likely this bruiser camp because of just the greed here from the Faerie Dragon.
Yeah, the map is slowly turning blue, and that's a good example of where a more conservative approach may have been better for the Happy Faerie Dragons to say, okay, we're probably not going to come out on top if we chase into this. We know we just, got spanked a tiny bit. We need to recoil and make sure that we're in a really good position and look for our other opportunities and advantages.
We are blessed.
And speaking of, pressing home the point, getting another advantage, there goes the third fort, level 17, 15. So going all the way back to those towers, right? There's no towers to stop creeps. There's nothing to stop waves. They kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And that led us into a fantastic position to take not only the 1 fort, but 2 and 3.
Now that the shrines are back up again, so we will see. I think if actions per minute gets another Dragon Knight, there's going to be serious trouble for Happy Faerie Dragons. What do you think?
Yeah, they need to contest for sure. Srey is going to come down here. He's going to find Savage and miss the bomb. That is unfortunate. That singularity spike does a lot of damage, and especially on a bit more of a squishy like Zagara. Unfortunately, it did miss out. He missed out the combo, but he was able to find the team. More importantly, he didn't die or use a heroic for it. So it's not the end of the world. But now he's going to need to look. There's a good grouping. Oh, he just missed it. It's going to be only on Mr. Savage, but he might be able to take home the kill on stage. Don Lu comes in. There's the stun as well. There goes the Demon Hunter. She's dead in the water. Meadowtown does have a dance off, but the Zagara Maul actually takes the participants away. But there goes Zagara. 2 kills to 0. Srey is likely to go down due to poison. But no, the last tick is actually not enough. And now it's the reverse kills for the Faerie Dragon, as Stitches just committed way too hard trying to kill Zeratul.
Yeah, and as we said, Happy Faerie Dragons really had to contest, and contest they did. only 2 up for the actions per minute. So as long as they're able to zone them out in the middle, they may have a chance of grabbing this Dragon Knight and getting themselves more solidly back in this game.
This is going to be their first dragon. This will be their second dragon, I believe. They had one earlier. Nope, they totally had to have one. This is their first, isn't it?
I think you might be right.
So a level 17 Dragon Knight is way, way more powerful than a level 1 or level 4, or, whatever you can get early game. He basically 3-shot these towers. That's the first towers now for the Dragon Knight. Bottom lane was immediately cleaned up because his late game damage was pretty immense. Plus, you got the Stone Bros there, throwing boulders all the way. There goes the gate, and you see the transition up top. So, again, quick, easy experience is going to trump going deep and possibly losing a team fight here in the late game.
And now they are pulling ahead in experience. And like you said, this late game dragon is a lot stronger. And we've seen this happen in a couple other games where it seems that one team is ahead. They're dominating in terms of dragons, but then one team grabs that late game dragon and they can do so much damage.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That was a 3-man Void Prison. Meadowtown and Hackett are on their own. Panda Jigu now going to town on top of Mr. Savage. There goes Zagara. Before even the ultimate was up for her, that's not going to be the Valerie Maw. We do have the Divine Storm, though. The Ravenous did go off for a little bit there before getting interrupted, but Hackett is now going to drop once again, trying to kill the Zeratul, who just blinks himself to safety. Panda Jigu in that Archon was able to do some massive damage and massive splash damage because everybody was grouped up. His Archon form does do some really decent auto attacks. You see the Dwarf jump in, you see Srey going in for Sage, gets off the double bomb, kills out the Vala, and now down 3 members. Actions per minute is going to lose this top fort and possibly more.
Yeah, we saw Happy Fairy Dragons getting so low on health, but it's so amazing how much momentum matters in this game as we saw them just ready to not give up, staying in really great position, playing like a team. That was an excellent fight.
Absolutely. And the big key, once more, is that Zeratul got off a fantastic Void Prison. This is why he's ban-worthy on this map.
Now they're going to push in that mid as well, just saying we want all of your lanes to be pushed in as far as possible and staying as 5, making sure that that strength in numbers mantra keeps being repeated for Kurt Jester.
Collapse, expand, don't do lemmings. There's a lot of mantras you can actually do here.
Ooh, down Luke getting hooked.
Yeah, getting hooked is not oh, he failed to jump as well. But it looks like the team is turned. He got a healing ward down. He got off some good shields there from Panda Jigu. But there's the Devouring Maw that we didn't see last team fight. But once again, Reset comes out strong. Uther with that stun. The Ravenous buds in fantastic positioning way down in the corner. Nobody to stop him. They take home the kill on Stitches. And even though they're the ones that got caught, they turn it around, they get the kills, and now they're about to hit 20.
And they've got Uther and Muradin, both notoriously hard to kill. And, of course, the Zeratul throwing in the things that you don't want to see, like the Void Prison and everything. When they're team fighting, 19 to 18 doesn't seem like a huge disparity, but with tanks that big, do you think it's just harder to kill that team if you don't focus one?
Killing the tank late game is like, you never want to be focusing a tank late game. But having 2 tanks and a lot of DPS, and they split the teams, they've somehow killed Stitches and ETC quite a bit. Actually, what are the depths? 3 kills on the Stitches, 1 on the ETC. That's rather strange, but hey, 5-man versus 1, even the best of tanks is going to struggle.
Right.
Good hook. Good hook on top of Donlu. It is the Dwarf in here, but wow, AVM actually melted down quite a bit of the hit points there. We still have 60 seconds on this Dragon, but now he's down like 10% hit points. He's if he does get blown up, you're wasting a lot of that siege power and that pressure, but at the same time, how can he go in on this anymore? If he gets hooked, Dragon's gonna pop. Now the team fight actually commences. The Dwarf can jump right back in, or maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, we're seeing them not too far from each other in experience, but seeing dominance from Happy Fairy Dragons. So what do you think accounts for that?
Their mid-game fights have been phenomenal. Zeratul has led us into quite a few kills simply because of Void Prison. The Void Prison taking people out of the fight, taking the healer out of the fight, for example. Like, if you stop Malfurion, you have a little bit of a window to just do some straight, unadulterated damage. So I got to say, Sray's play has been really on point game number 3.
Looks like Downley and Inkling thinking they might be going somewhere else and changing their mind, coming back. So it's again this 5-man team fight down here in the bottom lane alongside some Siege Giants. We're going to be doing some nasty damage.
Now, there is something to be said for protecting your mercenaries. Some people go grab the mercenaries and then they leave them just to do their own devices. But if you nurture them a little, heal them, put up a front door, they can repay you by taking some really interesting objectives sometimes. But in this case, they're just extra DPS. They're going to get swallowed there by the Devouring Maw. There's a big... Yeah, there's a big Maw, and there's some big focus on top of Hackett. There's the level 20 Divine Storm. It is 21-19. Remember, we do have that talent advantage here for the Happy Faerie Dragons. Look at that Ravenous go, nearly taking home Meadowtown. Hackage is still going, despite the fact that he's been brought down to low health so many times. He will eventually drop. Sray will join him in death, however. And now we have 20. Now the APM, they have all those Storm tier talents ready to go. Don Lu is likely to drop. I don't think Meadowtown is going to go, but no, okay, he had a jump ready to go, and there was no blinks used. I kind of expected to see blinks used on some of the lower hit point guys, but APM are finally even, and they have 3 blinks between them. Look at that. 4 blinks. 4 blinks on APM.
Wow.
And I didn't see a single one used right there. I really expected them to go a little bit more offensive because they had the momentum, they had the hit points.
I wonder why. I wonder if those activatables in times of high stress are ones that may be neglected, or if there was a strategic reason for not using them.
Well, they either didn't feel like they had the positioning, or they didn't feel the need, or they just didn't skill it fast enough. Like Vala picked it up way after the fact. She was one of the frontliners I was expecting to see a blink from, because she's high damage now, like level 20. She forced out a lot of damage. She has the blood for blood. She has the triple multi-shot build with battlement, and it's a very standard kind of build. But c'est la vie. We did kill out the dwarf, but Meadowtown is not going to make the same mistake. He bails a little bit early. And here comes the rest of his team. They're looking for this kill. They're likely to kill off Inkling. And remember the whole late game, what can you do? Lemmings, stagger the death timer.
Yep.
If Inklings does not get away, this is a very bad position for Faerie Dragons. He doesn't, because he gets collapsed upon.
Yes, and now it is 3-5 with an available dragon, so that is going to be something huge, as these teams are still close in XP.
They are close, but it is a level off. And after 20, some teams are like, yeah, whatever, we got 20. It's all the important soaking is done. Every level does add base stats and base damage to your abilities, to your health, to your regens. So it's not as important because you're not racing, but one level of difference is still something you can't really ignore. That's almost 200 hit points between levels for the tanks at this rate.
Sray getting caught out maybe, but Meadowtown not able to get that pounce on him, unfortunately for him. And it looks like 3 heading top to grab that shrine.
They're thinking about it. They still do not have an Uther on the table. APM needs to really press home this numbers advantage and either get a kill or get a dragon as quick as they can. Uther's still down for another 3. Then he has to, mount up and get all the way back to the front line. I'm a little curious that APM's not really trying to force the issue. They're just going to be happy with losers instead. And
yeah, interesting. It seems like they would have been looking for a team fight there.
Well, Red takes both here, but of course there's no one there to actually cap the dragon, and they're not going to keep both because now Furion is heading up top. But we do have all of Red ready to go. The Void Prison goes off. Nobody's going to go grab the dragon, but they do set up very nicely. Void Prison once again into the Divine Storm. 1-2 punch is going to come out. The Devouring Maw only took home Don Lu. And is Mr. Savage actually going to get out of this one? He is not. It's going to be a 3-0 swap. APM really needed to press home that numbers advantage and try to fight on their terms or get a dragon. And they didn't do either. They got VP'd and caught, and they lost Dragon Knight, and now this could be point. We have 40 seconds plus, Anna, on 3 heroes. And even Malfurion, like, yeah, it's over. Good game.
And a Dragon Knight pushing alongside as well. So there is not a whole lot that Actions Per Minute could do at this point. Just watch their beloved home be burned to the ground.
That's a really good way to put it, my dear. A really good way to put it. Good fighting from both sides. some fantastic team comps and fantastic engages, but in the end, APM didn't really seem to have that closing out power by the end of it, and Faerie Dragons with the Void Prison, with the Uther respawned, comes right back into it, and red team will advance here to the winners finals of the HeroesHype Amateur League.
Yeah, real big congratulations to Happy Faerie Dragons. And of course, good game actions per minute. Those were fantastic games and fantastic series, really exciting to watch. And I think it really came down, like you said, to that last advantage where they just didn't, they had Happy Faerie Dragons had one player down. Actions per minute failed to really push the issue and kind of floundered with decision of what they were going to do. Maybe there would have been the turning point. What would you have done in that position if you had all, omniscience of knowing what the best thing to do would be at that point for the actions per minute?
They had bottom point, and they knew that there was multiple of the Faerie Dragons contesting top. They all went top, and the Faerie Dragons backed off. Send someone mid, send two people mid, actually, because you need a zone. Grab the point and immediately get the dragon. Like, they took the bruiser camp, which didn't pay off at any rate. And then, unfortunately, all of them got caught by Zeratul after Uther was up. I mean, the Uther combo was repeated. We saw that. Zeratul would Void Prison into an Uther stun. And without an Uther, you don't have that completed stun. So if you could have forced a fight, or you could have forced the dragon, that's what I would have done, personally. Unfortunately, they just didn't do either of that. They took too long, and then the power of the Faerie Dragons came back. And they won. So, c'est la vie.
Yeah, I was a little curious about Happy Faerie Dragons not having any of that siege power that they'd been relying on in terms of Zagara and Hammer actions per minute, reacting to that by saying, no, we're going to ban one of those and pick one of them. They were able to adapt, and they were able to come out on top, so they will advance. So what are they going to do next?
It's an excellent question, actually. I haven't even looked at the brackets. But the brackets say it will be Happy Faerie Dragons up against the Rising Taquitos into the winners finals. The losers bracket is looking at actions per minute going up against the Protectors of the Storm, and Vivid Eclipse to go up against the winner of Psionic and Throw Academy. So still quite a few games actually for these teams to be playing out. Winners finals will be best of 3, and we're going to be casting that. Losers, I don't really know what to call the second of the losers finals, but I don't know. Semis implies 4 teams, but
yeah,
the winner of all the loser teams will face off against the losers of this next matchup to go into the grand finals, which will be best of 3 as well. So quite a few games actually left tonight. Unsure how long the stream will go, but at least we're doing the next best of 3, which means that when we come back, we will have the winners finals of the Rising Taquitos and the Happy Faerie Dragons. So don't go anywhere, guys.